Hi, I'm Rose, and I represent the manufacturer of the trash can liners that are supplied to Martin Brothers. So today we want to talk a little bit about features and benefits of the liners and how best to use them, but it really is important to your operation in terms of labor savings, making sure you get the right bag for the container. We're going to start out a little bit about packaging. All of these liners are packed in uniform sized boxes, same footprint, a little bit different height depending on the size of the bag. It has a dispenser opening, top and front, and that's important because most manufacturers have an opening only in the top of the box, which would prevent you from stacking them on the shelf, saving storage space. If you have to pull from the top of the box, you have to stretch them out all over the storage room, take up one entire shelf. Then when you get inside the box, what you'll notice is a page of stickers. This one happens to be blue, and that always means it's a 44-gallon size liner. It matches the color of the label. So especially in non-English speaking areas, they don't have to be able to read the label or the size. Put the sticker on the front of the container, match it up with the color on the label, and you'll always have the right size liner. Now, in terms of finding the right size liner, that gets to be a challenge. Over the last 60 years, there has been a lot of change in the sizing of the actual container. Most of you are probably using a 44-gallon brute container in your operation. The biggest fallacy about the 44-gallon brute containers is that 40 by 46 was the original size for the bag that would fit in a 44-gallon container. As you can see here, I have a 40 by 46 bag, which most of you have probably tried because it's marked 44 gallons. So when you put this bag in that container, here's what's going to happen. Put it around the top. Way too big around the top. The minute you throw something in, it goes right inside the bottom of the container. So the solution for many of you is to carry some rubber bands around with you. You take the rubber band and you hope you have the right size rubber band and you wrestle with it for a while. Okay, we finally got the rubber band. That took a lot of time and should not be necessary. So let's get rid of this bag and go to what Martin Brothers has decided to do to solve that problem. This particular bag is 3 inches narrower at the top and 4 inches longer, so that none of that is necessary. Take the bag, take it out, put it in the container, stretch it around the top. Oh, that's great. Look at that. Pull it down over the handles. No need for a rubber band. Throw something in, it's not going anywhere. Perfect. Similar situation with the 33-gallon. For many years, everybody was saying 33-gallon needs to be a 33 by 39 trash bag. This one happens to be the right size around the top, but 39 inches is not long enough to get to the bottom of the container. So when you throw something in there, it's totally unsupported by the container itself. You throw something in, it's going to cut the side of the bag because there's nothing holding it. It's too short. Instead of that, go with the correct size liner for the container. 33 by 45. Has the extra length, still fits tight around the top, goes all the way down to the bottom of the container. Okay. Again, nice tight fit around the top. Pull it over the handles. Has the extra length. No problem with cutting it when it falls into the bottom. The solution that a lot of people over the years have been trying to do for this larger container, because the 40 by 46 did not fit, was to take a 55-gallon liner, which is 38 by 58. It'll work around the top, just a little bit too wide, but acceptable. But here's now what's happening, and your management's not going to like this at all, because what you've done is decent around the top, but now you've just paid for 5 inches of material you don't need. So why not buy the liner? Fits tight around the top, exactly the right length. Don't have all this wasted plastic. You don't need the rubber bands, and or tie a knot in the bag. I've seen that happen a lot. The bag's too big, tie a knot to try to get it fit right. You don't get the knot in the right place, rip the bag, throw it away, start over. Very wasteful. Solution to the whole problem: get the right bag for the right container. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the different types of material that are available for trash bags. This one is a high molecular weight, high density polyethylene bag. And the main property advantage of this type of material is that it has better tensile strength. In other words, if you start pulling on it, it's really tough. It does not stretch very easily. So there are good applications for this product. First, I'm going to show you an application that is not good for this product. The problem with this is that if you use this bag in an area with a lot of sharp objects like forks, chicken bones, anything that might puncture the bag, for instance this fork, what will happen is that when you pull the trash out of the container, that little puncture mark is going to turn into a tear, which means you'll probably lose the trash all the way to the dumpster. So be careful of the application of this particular product. Where it does work well is in areas with a lot of wet, heavy trash, like linens, linen collection, food scraps even, potato peelings. A lot of wet, heavy trash will be fine because it has the toughness and the tensile strength not to stretch, but yet it will hold the trash. You don't have to worry about it puncturing and tearing. Where you need to use a linear low density bag is in those kinds of areas with the puncture, the flatware, chicken bones, again, sharp objects. That's where the linear low density does a better job. And I'll show you just briefly what I'm talking about with linear low density versus the high density. It is the softer plastic. This one has what we call elongation, which means that you start pulling, it's going to stretch fairly easily, okay? But once torn, or once punctured, it will not tear as easily as the high density. So again, be careful in terms of what type of trash you have and what type of bag you use in those particular areas. Very important. So again, the high density is better in terms of wet, heavy types of trash, and it is a lower cost product. So you can use the high density in those kinds of areas. The linear low density bag for bag will be a little bit more expensive, but is very, very critical in those areas where you might have some puncture and tears. You certainly don't want to lose the trash on the way to the dumpster, because then it's going to cost you a lot more money than what you saved by trying to use a high density bag in the wrong application.